Zoom link, and by the time we have our introduction. My friend all over the world, thank you so much for joining us, joining Imam Abdurrahman bin Faisal University, our webinar series for the second season here from Al-Kubar, from Dammam, Saudi Arabia. We'd like to welcome all of you, people from all over the world. Thank you so much. I see people from India, from South Africa, also from United States, from all over the world. Thank you so much for trusting us, trusting Imam Abdurrahman bin Faisal University to have or to introduce a topic which is very benefited for everyone of you. We appreciate the attendance. We appreciate your keen to be with us today. We're going to have a 90-minute, and I think our host today, our panelists, our speakers, they are really in the field of Six Sigma, and we are proud of them, and we are proud of the Institute of Six Sigma and their representative, Dr. Salman Al-Mashari and Mr. Chris Alcock. Our topic today, if you allow me, this is about Lean Six Sigma initiatives. The question is, are they training initiative or improvement initiative? Let's start our session by introduction of the Imam Abdurrahman bin Faisal. Thank you.
تمر جامعة الإمام عبد الرحمن بن فيصل بمرحلة ارتفعت فيها التوقعات، حيث يسهم التعليم في تقدم الأمم، ولذا تنطلق جامعتنا من رؤيتها الاستراتيجية جامعة رائدة تسعى إلى التميز محلياً وإقليمياً وعالمياً، وتهدف إلى تحقيق رسالتها على الوجه الأكمل في تقديم خدمات معرفية وبحثية ومهنية إبداعية بشراكة مجتمعية فاعلة ومن خلال قيمها الأصيلة. وعلى مدى تاريخنا العريق منذ أن تأسست عام 1975 ميلادي فرعاً من جامعة الملك فيصل بمدينة الدمام، مروراً بصدور القرار السامي لتحويلها إلى جامعة مستقلة عام 2009 تحت اسم جامعة الدمام، ثم انفصال جامعة حفر الباطن من رحم جامعة الدمام في عام 2014، وأخيراً بتشريفها بمسمى جامعة الإمام عبد الرحمن بن فيصل في عام 2016. كما تميزت الجامعة بالحصول على العديد من الاعتمادات المحلية والعالمية على مدى السنوات الماضية، ونحن فخورون بهذا الإنجاز والذي بني على خطط استراتيجية تجسد اختيارنا لنموذج الجامعة الشاملة أداة لتحقيق رسالتنا في خدمة الوطن عموماً والمنطقة الشرقية على وجه الخصوص. وينتشر منسوبون في 6 مواقع في المنطقة الشرقية، ويبلغ عدد موظفينا نحو 8000 موظف ما بين أعضاء هيئة التدريس والكادر الإداري والطبي. كما يدرس في الجامعة ما مجموعه 35,000 من الطلبة، ينتشرون في 19 كلية و85 برنامجا ضمن 4 قطاعات طبية وهندسية وإدارية علمية وإنسانية ومصنفة كالتالي: المسار الصحي، كلية الطب، كلية طب الأسنان، كلية الصيدلة الإكلينيكية، كلية العلوم الطبية التطبيقية بالدمام، كلية التمريض، كلية الصحة العامة، كلية العلوم الطبية التطبيقية بالجبيل. المسار الهندسي، كلية الهندسة، كلية العمارة والتخطيط، كلية التصاميم. المسار العلمي، كلية علوم الحاسب وتقنية المعلومات، كلية إدارة الأعمال، كلية العلوم، كلية العلوم والدراسات الإنسانية بالجبيل. المسار الإنساني، كلية الآداب، كلية التربية، كلية العلوم والدراسات الإنسانية بالجبيل. كليات لا تتبع السنة التحضيرية: كلية الدراسات التطبيقية وخدمة المجتمع، كلية الشريعة والقانون، وكلية المجتمع.
You are muted, Dr. Ahmed.
We can't hear you.
Yeah, now we can.
Yes, now we can hear
Yes.
you.
Well, thank you so much. I would like just to, before we start, to thank Professor Abdullah Rubeish, the president of Imam Abdurrahman bin Faisal University, which is, we like to call it IAU University. And really he's very supportive of this. And also I would like to remind everyone, this webinar, it is under an initiative, we call it JSUR, which is means to have, it is the communication hub of IU to the world. Let me speak about now our panelists. We can just have the slides, please. Yeah. In the panelist, let me introduce first Dr. Salman Al-Mishari. Dr. Salman Al-Mishari is a practicing system improvement and reliability consultant, and I'm really proud of Dr. Salman. He's have more than 30 years experience in Aramco and work in quality control and work in a lot of really areas, and now he is really, we call it one of the gurus in the Six Sigma in the Arab world. He's also a board director of the UK-based International Lean Six Sigma Institute, and we are proud to have Chris Alcock today with us. Also, he will mention something about the institute and how it supports Six Sigma all over the world. Dr. Salman has 30 years of postgraduate experience at Saudi Aramco, SM Engineering, and as a faculty of KFUPM System Engineering Department, where he taught maintenance management system. His experience is mainly on system process improvement, root cause analysis, RCA, statistical analysis, Lean Six Sigma, and design of experiment. Dr. Salman is also certified RCA instructor and hold a master black belt certification in Lean Six Sigma. He received his bachelor degree in mechanical engineering from University of Alabama, and his master degree in engineering from KFUPM, and a PhD and the use of Six Sigma and the process improvement from University of Bahrain. You know, all his life is Six Sigma. I think he's the right person now. He can address us about it, and today and tomorrow as well. Mr. Chris Alcock is also, I met Chris last year, before, I think 2 years ago, in one of the conferences in Institute Six Sigma, and I was really happy to know Chris. He's a Six Sigma black belt, accredited change management practitioner, and business improvement delivery professional. Chris is a director of the International Lean Six Sigma Institute, and really this institute, we need more people to register and apply to be a member in it. It's very important and it's very unique, and one of the really get advantage of it to attend the workshops and the conferences they held usually in Cambridge and somewhere else in UK. A visiting fellow at Granfield University and founding director of Managed IT Change. He is recognized as a thought leader in operational excellence and author, and delivers a training to business professionals at all levels, from the top floor to the shop floor. He is a specialist in experiential learning adapted to the needs and communication styles of the audience. He works with the clients such as Day-Lewis Pharmacists, Cambridge University Press, a number of NHS Hospital Trust, SSE Business Energy, the British Armed Forces through their career transition program. Chris is also master coach in the neuro-linguistic program. Chris is really inspiring and really nice to hear from him today, and he's the right person, I think, to address us as well. Before we hear from our panelists today, let me just have some reviews about the Lean Six Sigma, and just to have to furnish the floor to my friends to speak about their topic. Lean Six Sigma is a process improvement methodology which intend to remove problems, eliminate waste and efficiency, and improve the working environment to be a better customer need. It combines lean manufacturing, which is lean enterprise, and Six Sigma to eliminate waste. It depends on collaborative team effort, which is enhanced performance systematically, eliminating waste and reduce variation. And I think our panelists today, they will have more about it and give us more example of it. It improves both the process and the quality. Also, Six Sigma was first developed by Toyota. Lean was developed by Toyota as a part of the Toyota production. It's built around the word of Stewart and Deming. Focus of Lean is on speed, efficiency, and taking waste out of a process. Lean strives for more flow and generating value. Value, it's related to customer perception of the product, which is he or she is willing to pay. In the process, it deals with non-value added and value added. While Six Sigma was first developed by Motorola during the late 1980s, it is data-driven problem-solving methodology, focused on process variation. And I think Chris today, he will mention a lot about process things and customer satisfaction. Goals to achieve continuous process improvement. A Six Sigma process produced 3.4 defects per million opportunities, and we'll have more example on this. 5 phases means Six Sigma: define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. We call it DMIC. And when Lean and Six Sigma are combined and implemented properly, it can be a powerful management tool to improve the organizational performance. And Six Sigma used resources doesn't create value for the end customer, is considered waste and should be eliminated. And we have benefit for Lean Six Sigma, which is increase the profit, reduce error and cost, increase employee performance, standardize and simplify the process, and value customer. I think this is very important, and those people concerned about quality and using Six Sigma, today they want to hear our panelists to focus on four major topics. What is Lean Six Sigma, and what is it all about? Why we use Lean Six Sigma instead of, or in addition to other improvement, examples of demic real, case application, challenges and mitigation, some critical process factors and recommendation. And Dr. Salman Al-Mishari now, he will share his slides and we'll start with him. Dr. Salman, the floor is yours, sir.
Good. Which one is it? So, yeah, I think it's this one.
Yep.
Am I in the right?
Yep, you are.
Good. Let me just do shift of 5, I guess. All right. Thank you, Dr. Ahmed, for all the things that you said. Very nice words. And thank you for introducing Six Sigma for us. I guess there is no need for us now. You covered it all. Thank you. Thank you very much. So where am I? All right, so I think I will start from this slide since Dr. Ahmed already did all the introduction for us. And thank you, Ahmed, again for this invitation, and it's really an opportunity. And what I would like to start with is this a statement, actually. Whatever process, whatever business you are in, whatever service you are providing, there is a receiver for this process, and your receiver, call it a customer, call it a client, call it whatever, normally is expecting you, the reason he's coming to you is he wants a better service or a better product or faster or cheaper or easier, you know, whatever you're serving, whether it's coffee, whether it's teaching, whether it's medical, healthcare, whatever it is, repairing equipment, people come to you because you're either better in what you're doing, meaning that you're just giving them the service that they are asking for, or faster, meaning that you provide things on time. You're up to your commitment, cost-wise cheaper, or you know, they have good experience dealing with you. So it doesn't matter what you're serving, your client, your customers are, this is what your customers are asking from you. So now let me start with the questions, since I know that probably most of the audience are educators and they like exams and the quizzes and things like this. So I will start with a question. And this question is like this. Look at the two graphs, please. Graph number 1 and number 2. You have two performances. Let's say your customer is expecting you to deliver within 3, and if it's time, then he's expecting you to deliver within 3 weeks, within 3 days, within 3 hours, whatever the unit is. If it's equipment, then he would like his equipment to be running under 3 mils of vibration, whatever it is. And let's say this is process 1, and let's say this is a process 2. Which one of these two is a better performer? Is it 1 or is it 2? And what is it that you will base your answer on? You know, can you share some of your answers? Which one would you feel? This one, this is a process number 1, and you see it's hitting the target, the commitment, and this one is a little bit different. So which one is a better performer? So how are you going to gauge? Yes, please, Chris.
Salman, there's quite a few people putting responses into the chat message stream, and almost everybody's typing the number 2, Salman. Oh, one person has indicated number 1. So okay. we have largely people are voting for number 2, although one person says number 1. And there's a few messages about stability and consistency.
Very good. So what is it? Why are we choosing 2? Although 2 has a higher average, which is not favorable. If you take the average, number 1 is better than average. If you take the percentage failures, the defects rate, this one has failed to deliver. So why are we choosing 2 over 1? So, and a multiple choice format. So the better performer is the better in average? Is it the less in percentage failure? Or what is it? Or is it the one with less risk to meet business obligation? I think most of you would agree that the answer is C. It's not just the better average. Some people are better than average, like this one here is better than average. This one is averaging 2. An average is delivering within 2 weeks, while this guy is taking more than 2 weeks to deliver. In terms of percentage failure, this guy never really failed ever to deliver, while this one actually failed 1 time. But we all agree that this one is a better performer than this one. And the reason is that if you deal with this one, it is less risk. Now, the next question is, how do we calculate risk? One way to calculate risk is through sigma level. And this is why I'm trying to use this example to introduce what Six Sigma is. In terms of sigma level, what you're doing here, sigma level is actually your commitment, your obligation, minus your average, which is 2 in this case, divided by the number of standard deviation. All you need to do is take your data, take their average, take their standard deviation, and if you have your commitment, just subtract these 2 numbers, so it's 3 minus 2 divided by your standard deviation, and you can tell right away that this guy is actually a 2 sigma performer. What do you think the level of sigma for this guy, if we use the same formula? So the commitment is still the same, it is 3 minus the average. In this case, the average is 2.3, but if we divide this by the standard deviation, which I calculated to be 0.03, what do you think the sigma level for this one? It's actually, this guy is a 23 sigma. And this is how, you know, it's calculated. This is the difference between any methodology, other methodology, like if you just calculate the average as an indicator, which many of us as engineers do, just take the average, or take percentage defect, for example. If you take any of these, you will see that the number 1 is a better performer, while in fact number 2 is the better performer, and this is a way. So how is sigma is related to risk? Sigma is related to risk in a very, very simple format, and it's like this, and it's all taken from probability and statistics. This is the famous normal distribution curve. And what it does say this, it says that you are actually 68% confident that you will deliver within 1 standard deviation of your performance. So I can be 68% confident that I will be delivered within 1 standard deviation. I'll be 95% confident that I will be delivering within 2 standard deviation, and I can be as much as almost 99.7 confident that I will be delivering within 3 standard deviation. For 6 Sigma, the error is 3.4 in a million. Now, let's say we want to improve the risk of not meeting our customer expectation. What do we need to do? Very simple. There are 3 numbers that you need to tweak and fix, basically. It's either, the whole calculation is based on the mean, the commitment, whatever your customer is expecting, and the standard deviation. So changing any of these 3 parameters will help you improve. So now you have an area to focus on. So here in this case, for example, either I shift my specs up instead of 3, if I could raise it to 3.5, and that's probably the easiest thing. And all you need is just go and talk to your customer and tell them that, hey, I cannot deliver within 3 weeks, but if you just give me 3.5 weeks, I can be more confident. And then this changed the whole thing, because we've seen many people who actually make commitment and say, okay, we will deliver to you by Wednesday, or we'll deliver to you by Thursday, but they only add frustration to themselves and to their customers. So just being frank, that could be the solution. The other number is shifting the mean down. How do we do this? Sometimes just by starting early. Just, you know, if you start early in whatever you're delivering, that could be a solution. Or, and this is most of the focus in 6 Sigma practitioners, in reducing the variation. So the number this number is, the more the Sigma level is, and thus the less the risk. So again, relaxing commitment. You could work on this one here by just talking to your customer and being very honest with them, or changing the mean just by starting early, or by reducing variation. How do we reduce variation? Just by maybe not leaving things to randomness and luck. Maybe having procedures, drawing ready all the time. Whenever we want to do something, we have it ready. Instead of one day it's available, another day it's not available, this tool is available, and so on. And there is a lot of tools in the 6 Sigma toolbox to choose from to actually reduce the randomness. Make sure that you have the right tools ready, the right trained personnel when you need them, your communication channels, your protocol. All of these are very necessary if you want to reduce the variation in your process. And have a means of continuously checking your system. Lean 6 Sigma, again, the toolbox is full of tools, and unfortunately to say this, it's just so underutilized. Many of them are common sense, easy to use, and the training, some of them even in a few days you could train in a lot of these tools. So if we're able to improve these new figures, how much lower risk? How much lower will be our risk? So if we were able to change the spec from a 3 to 3.5, let's say we, instead of promising our customer to deliver within 3 weeks, we tell them, please give us another half a week. And we change it to 3.5. And we were able, by starting early in whatever we're promising our customers, from 2, we were able to reduce this from 2, the average, into 1.5. And we were able to reduce our standard deviation from 0.5 by following good practices and not leaving things to randomness, from 0.5 to 0.3. What do you think our Sigma level will be, and how much risk will that be? Again, we're just going to go to the same formula. We're going to subtract 3.5 minus 1.5, and that's 2, divided when we divide this by this number, which is 0.3, and what do we get? This is what we get. And instead of 2, we get 6.6. So now we are from a 2 sigma performer to a 6.6 sigma performer. And what does this mean? It means we only get about a 3 chance in a million to not being able to deliver to our commitment just by working in these 3 numbers. So from 5% risk to 3 in a million risk by just focusing in these parameters. So 6 sigma is based on a statistical process control concept, and it uses sigma, which is the standard deviation measurement, and this is the symbol for 6 sigma. Here's another example here. Let's say you have 2 employees, and they both are supposed to be arriving at 7 o'clock in the morning, and this guy's average is 6:40. It's 20 minutes to 7 with a standard deviation of 5 minutes, and this guy's average is 6:50, 10 minutes before 7 with 1 minute standard deviation. Which one is more reliable? Let's say you have an urgent meeting and you need somebody to attend. Which one is more reliable? This one is more reliable than this one, and the reason is this very simple. The sigma level of this one is 4 sigma. Why? Because we have 4 5 minutes here. So there's a 5 minute here, another 5, another 5, and another 5. So we have 4 sigmas, while this guy is actually 10 sigma. Why? Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then another 5. So that's 10 sigma. So just by taking a few data and looking at them and plotting them like this, you can tell how much risk do you have to delivering your expectation or your delivering to your customer. 6 sigma is a data-driven problem-solving methodology. So it's data-driven and problem-solving. Data-driven means that it's data in every phase. We use the DMAIC process, as Dr. Ahmed said. The data clarity is very important. We use the graphical techniques to reach the solution. Data quality is very, very, very important, because garbage in is garbage out. And in some cases, we use statistical techniques there. So it's data-driven problem solving, and problem solving, we use a problem solving structure, the DMAIC process. We always go through the DMAIC in all the problems that we tackle. It's a problem focused. It's not somebody have a solution, he wants to share it. No, it's actually, you have to have a problem and you have to go through the process. And it's a rigorous approach. So each phase must be completed before you start the next one. It's a simple approach. And everybody, can understand at least the general approach of it. And it's a generic approach, meaning that you can apply it in all disciplines, whether you're a plant equipment, whether you're working in healthcare, whatever you're working on, whether you're an educator, all of these, you can use actually the process on them. It uses a 5-phase process, the define, which is developing a clear objective, a clear project charter based on significant real problem. The measure phase, you understand and you put a baseline for your data, you find your root cause analysis, and then you develop your solution and you implement them. Now, I would like to illustrate the use of this methodology or this introduction in a real case. And during my job in Saudi Aramco, I was a plant equipment, I did plant equipment reliability. So I'll choose one from there just to illustrate that this method can work in in anything actually, any problem. If you go through the process, it should work. So let me just give you a little bit of introduction about the problem, and then I will go through how, you know, Six Sigma was helpful, or at least the thinking of Six Sigma was helpful into this. So this problem actually we did about 15 years ago. At what we have here, we have 6 big pumps, and 3 big pumps and 3 small pumps. And all of these pumps, they actually take water from the sea and they pump it to an inlet canal. And then there are other pumps that take the water from the inlet canal and distribute it to the whole cooling system. So this is a very important, because if you lose the cooling system to the facility, you lose the whole plant. And that's of course not a good thing, especially if this plant is a very critical thing. So 3 of these pumps, the smaller ones, have a flow rate of 35,000 GPM, and the others are rated as 60,000 GPM, and the requirement is only 60,000. So to get 60,000, the normal mode of operation, you will operate 1 small pump and 1 big pump. These 2 pumps will give you 60,000 plus 35,000, so that's a total of 95,000 GPM. The requirement is 80, so the remaining 15,000 GPM is considered a surplus and is just diverted back to the sea. The pumps are very old, with some being over 50 years of age. The time is spent to repair when one of them fails has been very long, and this actually what concerned the management. It was taking like a full year basically sometimes to get it back into service, and that's because of due to custom made spare parts and so on. And all of this raised concern about their future capability to sustain the required level of availability. And actually they were asking to they're 50 years of age, they take long time to repair, so maybe we should just replace them. That's maybe it's time to replace them. So we actually decided to use the methodology. So there's data gathering. We got the time between a failure to another, the time between a pump failing to its next failure was about 5 years. That's from the data that we gathered. And the time to repair, as I said, was about 1 year. So that's an average. Now, our next step in our analysis was establishing the success states. Now, what are success states? You know, very obviously, all pumps being operable is an obvious success state. If they're operable, that's a success state. If you have 2 small pumps only, 35,000 plus 35,000, that's a failure state. Why? Because the requirement is 80,000. And so that's basically the basis. So in fact, there are 16 possible scenarios, 12 of which are success states and 4 are failure states. And here they are. If you have 3, if you have them all operable, then it's a success state. If you have only 2 small pumps operable, then it's a failure state. If you have only 1 small pump, or even if you have only 1 big pump, or if you have them all failures. So that's basically the success state. And these are the data that we have, the failure rate, the repair rate, and you can do some analysis. If you're a reliability engineer, you could do, you know, based on the failure rate and the repair rate, you could develop your equations and you could calculate the availability of these equipments. Now, when we solve these, we get an availability of 99.9% for the subject system. Is this good? Now, do we need to replace? It's already 99.9. Now, the question is this, is 99.9 good? How do we judge if it's good or it's not good? Like many people think, for example, 99% availability is good. 99% means that 1% unavailable, 1% in 365 days a year, that's about 4 days a year. 4 days a year is not acceptable. You know, go to any facility manager and tell them that my facility will be down for 4 days in a year, and which is 1%. That's not acceptable. So this is very hard. So what do we do here? Our option here is to go actually and compare to our alternative. What's our alternative? Our alternative, when we talk to the facility planning, they told us that normal practice, we will change these pumps to 350 percenters. That means we're going to give you 3 pumps. Each one will deliver 40,000. So that's 40,000 plus 40,000. That's 80,000. And you're going to have one as a stand-up, basically. So based on this, we recalculated availability based on the alternative, and we get basically the same availability. So whether you spend your $1 million or you didn't spend your $1 million, you're going to get the same availability. And based on this, we actually decided that this is not it's not profitable. There is no point. It's not logical to replace them, because you're replacing a system with another system, getting the same availability. Now, say where is Six Sigma and where is the DMAIC here, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to go through a few things just to try to highlight and where the methodology was helpful here. So first point here, only improvement projects are accepted into Six Sigma. Six Sigma, as we said in the title, are improvement initiatives. They're not training initiatives. Unfortunately, when you go to Six Sigma classes, some people will bring on, any problem to it. And this never was meant to be the objective of Six Sigma. The objective of Six Sigma, the companies who started Six Sigma, they started Six Sigma because they have problems that they want to solve. It's not because they just want to get their engineers or employees smarter. So it is. So to start with, this problem has to prove itself that it is, and there is an improvement before we actually moved in. And this is why we said, what is the significance of this problem? The first thing to do in the DMAIC process is to prove that this problem is to prove, not just to intuitively say it needs replacement. It's actually, you need to bring a proof with number. And this is why we work. So it's just this thing leading us to actually think of this way is a big saving to the company, okay? So significance is determined through good definition, that's the defined in the DMAIC. DMAIC, so this is spelled DMAIC process. Intuition is not enough. And in fact, this one was counterintuitive. Nobody thought that this is actually is not a significant problem. Now, projects, as I said, are accepted only through an improvement programs. And in these companies, the participants have to attend the training. If you're involved in Six Sigma, then you have to charter a number of problems and you have to assign them to a number of participants. And these participants have to attend the training, the required training. They need to complete their projects successfully and pass final exam. So this is what we mean by an improvement initiative. It's not a training initiative. So there is a project completion element into it. And even here, the good thing about this, when you take it as an improvement initiative, even if you end up with solving a couple of problems, You know, if you start, let's say, with 10, 13 problems at the beginning, and you end up with the solving, even if you solve 2 or 3 significant problems, that is still considered an achievement. Significance of measure here in the domain. As always said, if you can't measure it, you can't improve it, basically. So good measurement is very important. Here, what should we measure in this case? What is it that we should measure? Is it the failure rate? Is it the time to failure? Is it the repair rate? Or is it the time to failure? And what should we do? Is it continuous data? Is it attribute data? All of this are very important. And somebody with knowledge in the measure phase of DMAIC, you will know that continuous data is much richer, and you should focus on continuous data and not just take. And unfortunately, many use the failure rate, which is counting the number of failures, while it's actually there is a better method of getting a richer data, which is the continuous data. Now, what is it that we're going to measure? Is it the downtime or the time to failure? To most reliability engineers, they focus on what they call mean time between failure, because that's the main indicator for them. While in this case, it's very clear that it's time to failure that's the problem. It's the downtime, actually. And the above example showed downtime is much more cost and impact effective. The problem here is mainly long repair time. So, and basically, why is it taking too long to repair? It's not because it's failing frequently. It's not failing frequently. 5 years mean time between failure is not considered to be bad. So, because it's the time that's taking long, because we're actually trying to look into analyzing the problem. So, what do we need to analyze the time? We need good process mapping. We need GIMBA. Why is it actually taking a whole year to finish the repair? So we need to analyze, do good analysis of the waiting time. We need to do analysis of the value adding and non-value adding, and all of these concepts are coming from the Six Sigma, and maybe just looking at all the 7 waste, or now they are the 8 waste, basically. The root cause analysis. Most of, especially reliability engineers, they use the 5 why method. And the 5 why method, sometimes it only leads to blaming somebody. Why, and then you find a person and you blame it. In this case, you need to do a good full-blown root cause analysis methodology. And for the improved list, for the improved phase, listing improvement initiative, for example, how about submergible vibration pickup to detect the problem? These pumps, when they fail so badly. Maybe if you put a pickup, a vibration pickup, the problem will be detected earlier, and then before it gets too catastrophic, and it will be easier to resolve, easier to repair. But pickups, they cannot go underwater unless you actually put a special type of pickups, which is submergible. So that was a solution. How about including these pumps in the total repair program? Like stocking the spare parts ahead of time. The problem was actually ordering the spare parts. So if you include them in the total repair program, you could actually order this material very early in time. Other critical success factors, and I should be finishing maybe in less than 5 minutes. You need a very well-informed management, and this is an advice for I know most of our attendees here are educators, consultants, and so on. So whenever you do consultation to other, don't just draw rosy pictures at the beginning. Six Sigma is a very powerful method, but there is cost to it. And they need to understand that there is cost to it. And any quality, actually, there is cost of quality. And it's only feasible if the cost of poor quality actually offsets the cost of quality. So this is very important. And they need to know that not all projects have to succeed. Some projects will actually just stumble. So you need to tell them all of this in advance. It's not just, okay, deploy it and everything will shine. No, you need also an engaged management. It's very important from what we've seen that management involvement in these projects is very critical. They can't just say, okay, we deployed Six Sigma and we should be expecting results. No, you actually need to be having periodic meetings, like maybe every month or every couple of months, to see the project, the progress of the projects, and to support the projects by removing any obstacles that you see in front of you. Another advice is that participants need close mentorship. And I always think of Six Sigma or any training actually is like driving a car. It's not enough to just tell somebody this is how you drive. There is a car, there is a steering wheel, there is a gas pedal, and so on. This theoretical instruction is not sufficient. And unless actually your students walk through the problem, a real problem, just like driving, like route, like being in the road. Without this, that it's not enough. That you did not train them all the way through, and not just this. Actually, even when they drive, just like drivers, when they need experience. Some people need at least before they're very good drivers, you need 3-4 years. All of this will actually accumulate experience. Also for educators and consultants like yourself, it's not enough that you explain things in theories. Example, like the example I gave, and I used this in when I taught at KFUPM. When I bring them real life example, life is different. Their interest is different. They say, when so and so we had this problem, and this is how we tackled it, and this is how we solved it. Not everything just by theory. So they need experience, need to have experience as well. And also the educators and consultants, they need experience. We as educators and consultants, it's not enough to just read a book and come and teach it. We need to actually put, get our hands dirty and work in projects. So is this my last, I think with this, I end up my part of this presentation, and I give it back to you, Dr. Ahmed.
Thank you so much, Dr. Salman Al-Mishari. Well informed. I really like what you said. Consultants tend to draw a very rosy picture at the beginning. I agree with you. I mean, the cost of equality really high, but when the action taken and know the tools to be implemented in the right way, definitely it will be an improvement scale, and the poor quality, it will be out. I think the picture is not enough. I mean, the picture is what has been drawn by Dr. Salman. We need to have more about it. We are eager to hear from Chris, Mr. Chris Alcock, which is also, he will address us within about the continuous quality improvement initiative must underpin your organization strategic vision, the difference between a traditional operating model and a lean operating model, and how the theoretical Lean Six Sigma Institute can assist you in building your continuous quality improvement infrastructure. If you quit your sharing, please, and will give us a chance to Mr. Chris
if you stop
sharing.
Yeah, just to
at
stop
the top
sharing.
of the screen. At the top of the screen, Salman.
Yeah. At the top of the screen.
I'm hoping you'll find a control bar to stop sharing.
There is a new pause share. There is a pause share. Can I just do a pause share?
Isn't it want to stop sharing?
And stop share. So
Yeah.
I'm already, okay, I already
Here we
stopped.
go. Here we go. Chris, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Whoa. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
Okay. Wow. I've given quite a few online training courses over the past 18 months, and I've really got used to speaking into the camera. So now I know what it feels like to be the person reading out the news. And there's nobody, I mean, I can hear you guys chuckling, but there's no feedback from the audience when you're reading the news. And some training courses, some of the participants, they switch off their camera, they mute their microphone. This is a public webinar, so we're asking you to do that. But when I have classroom training courses, I want to see people's faces and hear their voices. And everybody mutes the microphone and switches the camera off. And I feel alone. So I want some participation during this session, please. Thank you. Okay. What are we going to do?
Chris, you are not alone. You have hundreds of people that are hearing you now.
Thank you. It doesn't feel like it.
Yes, you're right. Yes.
Okay. What are my aims? What are my aims? I want to provide, excuse me if I'm just reading one or two notes, because I want to say a lot, but I'm not going to occupy too much of your time. So I want to provide a wider organizational context for what Dr. Salman has been talking about. I like to call it continuous quality improvement. I want us to start thinking about how quality improvement can fit into an organization's operating model. And I also want us to start thinking about what infrastructures can support an organization to be more effective in the way it operates, and also provide a better quality of service to the customers. Henry Ford once said to his employees, "Who pays you?" And they replied, "You do, boss." His response, "No, I don't. I'm simply a channel. The customer pays you, and I transmit the money from the customers into your pockets." So it's always about the customers. Who pays us? If they choose to walk away, no matter how good our business is, in our opinion, we'll stop making money. Okay, thank you. So these are my three objectives read out by Dr. Ahmed. Who is this? So this is where I'm looking for audience participation. So in your chat boxes, please, and if I can ask for Salman, if I can ask you to open your chat box dialogue, I want you to tell me, who is this? So if there's anybody who wants to kind of type an answer into the chat box, and Dr. Salman, if you could maybe read out if there's any answers in the chat box.
Yes, there is an
answer.
Yeah, there is an answer, which is Maha said it's William Shatner.
William Shatner, yes. Okay, that is the right answer. Well done, Maha. This guy's a bit of a hero for me. He was a star of the 1960s TV series Star Trek. And even though the series only ran for about 2 years, 3 years, and the TV channels decided to cut it because they didn't think it was making them too much money, it's still as popular now as it ever was, and it's gone through various evolutions, and it's hit the cinema with multiple blockbusters. And it's one of my very great, one of my, something that gives me very fulfilling that I actually met William Shatner. I met him in, so I'm speaking to you from Milton Keynes in the United Kingdom, and I met him at a conference for science fiction fantasy fans, and he visited the conference. Often people from, shall we say, science fiction fantasy TV shows, Star Wars, Star Trek, Batman, all of these fantasy kind of TV shows and films. A lot of stars went along, and he was the guest invitee one year. And I actually, when he was entering the building, I was 2 meters away from him, and there I was with my smartphone, my camera, ready to film him. And I thought, I can watch films of this guy anytime I like on YouTube, on the internet. So I put my camera down and I used the best camera in life, which is the human eyes. And I just watched the guy and listened to him speaking just for a few moments in a side aisle before proceeding to the main conference center. So that meant a lot for me. And okay, so yes, the statement. So space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. I don't even need to look at the screen. Its 5-year mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, and to boldly go where no man has gone before. The words have been slightly updated for subsequent series. My question for you once again, maybe we'll get a few more comments in the chat box this time, is to you, is this a mission statement? Is it a vision, or is it a strategic objective? So answers in the chat box, and Dr. Ahmed or Dr. Salman to call out some of the responses in the chat box, please. So is this a mission, a vision, or an objective? So I'm looking for some feedback from the audience, please. I want contributions. Does anybody have an opinion? These words. Mission, a vision, or a strategic objective?
We received from Aisha.
Yes.
It said this is a vision.
A vision.
Yes,
Okay.
Aisha Adam.
Thank you, Aisha. Any other?
And we received also from Gada Hamid. She said it's objective.
Yes.
And
okay.
Maha, she said it's a mission statement.
It's a mission statement. These are all totally, shall we say, and thank you for contributing, totally valid, shall we say, points of view. I personally consider this to be a mission. Yes. If it's not a vision, what for me is the vision? The vision is peace throughout the galaxy. So the person who wrote these words had a vision of peace throughout the galaxy. And the mission is to undertake a voyage that's going to last 5 years, to seek out new life and new civilizations, and boldly go where no one has gone before. The strategic objectives, I would say a good strategic objective would be to say, we want to visit 10 new planets on the Starship Enterprise over the next 12 months. Another strategic objective is we want to establish negotiations with at least one of those civilizations for them to join the Galactic Federation. You'll notice something about the objectives that I'm using. They're all numeric in nature. Yes. However, where does quality fit into this statement? Indeed, where does quality fit into your organization's, your company's vision statement, its mission statement, its strategic objectives? Where does quality fit in? Yeah. Did you ever hear Captain Kirk, William Shatner, and his senior officers discuss quality improvement initiatives on Star Trek? And if you did, when did they discuss it? Why did they discuss it? Why didn't they discuss quality initiatives on Star Trek? My argument to you is because the quality initiatives were not aligned with the strategic objectives of the organization. So we start at the top. So I'm going to say that at the top of the pyramid, we have the vision. Next layer down is the mission. And then we have the strategic objectives, yeah? Below that, we have, and I'm choosing to call these here critical to quality requirements. Critical to quality requirements are what drives quality improvement initiatives. I'm going to talk you through with an example. I'm going to use the word underpin. So for me, critical to quality requirements underpin strategic objectives. What does the word underpin mean? Well, the walls underpin, they support the roof of a house. If we remove the walls, the roof falls down. This is a good coaching question. You can ask the question, if we remove this critical to quality requirement, will the roof of our house fall down? Will our strategic objectives fall down? And I'm going to give you an example, a talk through an example. So if we have a strategic objective of increasing our profit by 30% within 3 years, it's a valid strategic objective, improve our profit by 30% within 3 years. And then somebody within the business says, oh, we've got a very important quality initiative. It's actually very strongly linked to safety. And we want to reduce the number of near misses, accidents or near misses from 1 every 3 months to less than 1 per month. Yeah. So that's a very important quality initiative. Reduce the number of accidents or near misses from 1 every 3 months on average to 1 every month. Is this quality initiative, is it underpinning the strategic objective? In other words, if you remove this safety quality of initiative, if you remove this, will the roof fall down? Will our strategic objective fall down? Remember what the strategic objective is: improve our profit by 30%. My viewpoint is that no, it won't. If we remove this quality initiative of improving safety, it will not mean the strategic objective collapses. We've got a problem. The quality initiatives, the critical to quality requirement, is not aligned with the strategic objective. So either we need to challenge the CTQ, the quality requirements, or we need to challenge the strategic objective. Now, if you tell people you're going to remove a safety quality requirement, that's a big issue. Yes, very few organizations really would publicly be willing to do that. And yet how many include it in their strategic objectives? So I think we need to challenge our strategic objective here. And actually, excuse me, I think we need to say, we want to increase our profit by 30% over the next 3 years without any negative impact on workforce welfare or safety. Now, the critical to quality safety requirement, it underpins the strategic objective. It's like the walls keeping up the roof of the house. It keeps up the strategic objective, stops it from falling down. And the next the next critical to quality requirement could be, well, we want to reduce equipment downtime from 20% to 5%. Yeah, so we want to reduce our downtime from 20% to 5%. Does that support our strategic objective? Yes, it does. It's like a wall that's keeping the roof in position, the strategic objectives in position. So that's a good coaching question. It's a good metaphor, a good analogy. Think of the roof and the walls. And when we have very strong alignment between CTQs, critical to quality requirements, then senior management will start paying much more attention to them. Because really, most leaders, most executive suite, the C-suite members, they're interested in the vision, the mission, the strategic objectives. And people like you knock on their door and say, hey, boss, I think we ought to start a new quality initiative. Oh, that's really interesting. What's this got to do with my strategic objectives? Now you have a tool for linking your quality initiatives to the strategic objectives, and you will get the ear and the eyes and the attention and the interest of your senior leaders. Okay. Oh, let's put this into practice then. So Captain Kirk says, to achieve our mission, we need good engine reliability. And Scotty, the ship's engineer, he replies, our goal is to reduce unplanned downtime from 5% to 1%. Yeah, so that's great. Did you ever actually hear Captain Kirk say, to achieve our mission, we need good engine reliability? I've watched probably every episode of the original Star Trek series, and just right now, I don't recall hearing him say, to achieve our mission, we need good engine reliability. So did you ever hear Scotty say, oh, our goal in his Scottish accent is to reduce unplanned downtime from 5% to 1%? I never heard them say those things. And I'm going to tell you the reason why they never said those things. They never said those things because Dr. Salman didn't train them. If Dr. Salman had trained them, then you would have heard them say things like that on the Star Trek episodes. Okay. I want to introduce my second concept. What do you need to make all of this happen, to make all of this a success within your organization? You need a continuous quality improvement initiative. That's the aim of the remainder of my slides. I'm going to tell you what I consider a continuous quality improvement in infrastructure to be. But firstly, I'm going to start with the question why. Simon Sinek, a very famous author, wrote a book called Start With Why. And those of you who attended the recent ILSSI conference in Cambridge will remember a very, very rousing, amazing presentation by one of our speakers, Paul Allen. He said, always look for your why. Why is continuous quality improvement infrastructure important? And my argument is it's important because we want senior leadership, line management, and the workforce to be all pulling in the same direction. Yeah. In the sport of tug of war, if your team, if every person in the team is not working at the same rhythm as everybody else, pulling at the same rhythm, at the same speed, all with the same goal and objective and all in the same direction, then that tug of war team will lose. And it's a competitive world out there, as we all know. So why do we need a continuous quality improvement in infrastructure? So that we're all pulling in the same direction. Okay, traditional operating model. I've worked in businesses like this. When I first started my career in manufacturing, I've worked in a number of sectors, really a broad range of sectors. I devoted a lot of my career to working in a manufacturing company. When I started in the company, this was the traditional way of working that they used. So the management specified the targets, the strategy and the objectives. The management then decided what skills they wanted the workforce to have. They defined the tools and equipment to use, the materials and the information. Then they moved on to specifying how the job should be done, what the best, most productive work environment would be. And the management, they wrote the rules about what success was, and they made the decisions about whether something was successful or not. Yes, they retained all of the power because they wanted the results. Yeah. So this operating model has been very successful, really, probably for over a century. My argument is that we need to evolve to a new operating model. I was at a manufacturing conference recently, and one of the people there said, Chris, I understand what you're saying, but I'm a hard manager. I don't let my people get away with anything. This person was thinking inside the traditional operating model. Yeah, some people call it micromanagement. Okay, so that set the scene for what I want to introduce to you, which is the lean operating model. So I'm just not quite sure whether I am I'm actually sharing my screen effectively with you. So I'm going to start sharing it again. Okay, yes. So I'm going to start sharing my screen again. And there we go. Thank you. Okay, so a leaner, more sustainable operating model. There's a lot of differences here. Management plays a very important role. So let's get a marker. So management must provide strategic objectives and also leadership skills. Thereafter, my argument to you is thereafter, it is the job of the workforce to provide achievable targets, to have the skills, knowledge, and expertise in order to fulfill these objectives, empowered behaviors and attitudes. We want everybody to work towards effective operations, continuous improvement, innovation and experiments, shared learning. And then we all get results and we share in those results, but we also achieve sustained viability, a culture of excellence, diversity, workforce well-being, community and belonging, and rewards and recognition. Yeah. This slide actually follows something called the SIPOC model, the inputs, process, outputs model. If you want the outputs to improve, if you want to get better results, more sustained viability for the company, greater diversity, culture of excellence, if you want to achieve those outputs, you need to look at the processes that you use and the inputs, and we have soft inputs and hard inputs. So this is the input, process, output model, and this is the operating model that a lean organization advocates that we use. Okay, I want to introduce you to the International Lean Six Sigma Institute, as it says here, a community dedicated to operational excellence in business. Why? Because I consider the ILSSI as a resource that you can reach out to, take advantage of, leverage to actually help you build your lean operating model. Okay, so the aim of this slide is to introduce 5 ways in which the ILSSI can assist you in creating your quality, continuous quality improvement infrastructure. But the other aim of this slide is how not to do a PowerPoint. It's a wall of text. So there you go. This is how not to produce a PowerPoint slide. Let's actually create something a little bit more dynamic. Okay, so here we have our continuous quality improvement operating model. Yeah, and I briefly want to introduce to you very briefly how you can get this working. Yes, and how a resource such as the International Lean Six Sigma Institute can support you. And if there's other organizations out there, then you're obviously clearly extremely welcome to use them instead. Yes, so how can the ILSSI fit in? Okay, so it's a peer-to-peer community. Yes, training organizations, consultants and thought leaders. This is where you can get your skills, knowledge and expertise from if you choose. Yes, they can give you guidance in starting your continuous improvement initiatives to produce more effective operations. Yes, we're looking for organizations that have the courage to actually enable their teams, their workforces, to actually undertake experiments, to try things out. Yes, the courage to acknowledge that many experiments fail, but the most valuable thing they produce is learning. And learning, building on learning, is how we get better and how we find and achieve success. You need some validation. You need to know that the skills that people are acquiring are actually They're aligned with what's recognized as best practice by some of the most successful organizations in the world. Yes, continuous improvement best practices, how actually continuous improvement is probably more a change initiative than, shall we say, an exercise in using data to solve your problems. It's a change initiative. You need to engage with your workforce, yes? And you can also validate your own leadership skills, yes? So there's a lot in this for management as well, yes? Because the role in management in all of this now is not to tell people what to do and how to do it. The role of management is to build this operating model and then let the workforce produce the success, because it's the people who do the job each and every day who actually know what really goes on, and they know the answers and they know the problems, and we want to give them the skills so that they can solve the problems and actually bring in all of their ideas and creativity and enthusiasm and motivation. I want to create a platform sharing that knowledge, shared learning, community and belonging. That's such an important thing for me. It's one of my strongest values. I was going through those yesterday. Belonging, being a part of something bigger. Yes. We need some accreditation. It's also a way of providing rewards and recognition. Brainstorm with your workforce what they want out of these improvement programs. And they may mention money, they may mention part of the profits, but rewards and recognition drive people just as powerfully, yes? And we want you to gain access to our community, yes? So a community of operational excellence expertise, once again, share learning, listen to others, share your own experiences, develop and enhance your knowledge, skills and experience. And I hope you can see you've got a lot of resources here to build your lean operating model. Yes, to develop a culture of excellence and to develop your leadership skills. You as decision makers, you can also develop your leadership skills. For example, the conference we held in October, Dr. Salman was there. We had some fantastic speakers about developing leadership skills to actually help organizations to undertake this change journey. It's as much about change as it is about problem solving. So we have a little bit of a catalogue here of the offerings that we have, a body of knowledge, so that you know you are learning accepted best practice skills. If people want to pass exams, they can do online exams, or I'm fully in agreement with Dr. Salman here, actually work on real life improvement projects and submit reports. And we can check through the work that you've done, and it meets the standards, you get your certificate, yes? We've had 3 conferences now. The next conference we're planning on running, and the next conference in June next year, we're planning on running in Romania. These are wonderful opportunities to share, to learn, to benchmark yourselves, to learn where you are in your journey in comparison with other like-minded organizations. And we offer you the opportunity to become partners, membership programs. If organizations out there in the audience, if you are, shall we say, in the field of education, it could be of great interest to you to join our partnership programs. We have organizations across the world who've chosen to become accredited training organizations with us. And on the website, you have a lot of resources, videos, research papers, case studies, white papers, yeah? So some of our peer-to-peer community members, Professor Gigi Anthony, now based in Abu Dhabi, incredibly recognized in the field of process engineering continuous improvement. Dr. Salman, the director of ILSSI. Kola, the person on the far right-hand side, another fellow director, does a lot of improvement work in Africa. Yes, a diverse audience. We've got representation in the USA, many European countries. Albanesa Imaya, she's based in the Dominican Republic in the Caribbean. Our chairman, John Dennis, the founder of the International Lean Six Sigma Institute. We have a specialist in AI and data analytics. You can see the list there. So I invite you to just reach out, make use of this community. Yes, we ourselves at ILSSI The ILSSI does not provide training courses. We put you in touch with accredited training organizations. We provide certification services. Okay, so where does the continuous quality improvement infrastructure belong? It's right at the bottom. Yeah, so it needs to underpin everything else. So my argument, once again, it's your job as leaders to create this structure. Yes, so that this structure is a self-supporting structure. The walls support the roof, and it's all built on strong foundations. So here we go. What does a continuous quality improvement infrastructure look like? This is what it looks like. This is your roadmap. Every organization is unique. There's no step 1, step 2, step 3. You will know which of these areas you need to start working on first, which you can then focus on after that. So I encourage you to get together with your colleagues, the workforce, the people who actually do the jobs day in, day out, and also the leaders, and say, if this is our roadmap now to create a continuous quality improvement infrastructure and to create a lean organization fit for the 21st century and beyond, what are we going to start on first? Yes, recognizing that to achieve all of those outputs, we need to look at the process and the inputs and create this culture of excellence. So what is your next step? I think I've already described it. The next step is to discuss with your leadership and participation at operational levels where in this model you want to start, recognizing that you have the ILSSI as a resource to use if you want. Yes, simply reach out to us. All it costs is connecting with us on LinkedIn or sending an email. Yeah. So I'd like to give the last word to William Shatner. He recently went into space on the Blue Origin mission that's been funded and guided by Jeff Bezos. So in the slides, you have a set of contacts here for Dr. Salman, John Dennis, our chairman, and myself. But I'm going to stop. I'm actually going to share a video here. I've actually recognized that I've got to optimize for video clip and share sound. So I'm going to share a video here. And let's listen to William Shatner.
Everybody in the world needs to do this. Everybody in the world needs to see
Okay, that's me, guys. Everybody in the world needs to do this. I heard a starting gun there. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much. Really well done. Well done. Let's come to the next part of our day. We really enjoy it. Really, honestly, I am one of them. We have a lot of questions and answers. I received them, some of them in my WhatsApp. Well, thank you for all, guys. But the remaining of the time, let me choose a couple of questions. Let's start with Dr. Salman. Dr. Salman, there is a question from one of the audience. What is the Six Sigma organizational structure for an organization? Can you explain about the build system in Six Sigma? You can answer it in a brief, please.
Yeah, the build system.
Yes.
Actually, not everybody is trained in all the components of Six Sigma or Lean Six Sigma. So it's a sort of hierarchy sort of thing. So some people are trained just lightly, like if they're white belt or yellow belt. If these people are only members in the Lean Six Sigma projects, then all they need is maybe yellow or white, black belt. But if you're handling a project, then you need to be a green belt at least. If you're leading projects and maybe taking big projects or monitoring maybe green belt projects, then you're a black belt. And the biggest guy is the master black belt. And the master black belt is he's a full-time basically doing just mentorship and running the program and doing all the coaching, all the everything. And it doesn't even stop there. There are some problems that even master black belts can be difficult, like research problems. Maybe you'll take it to the university next to you if the problem gets so complicated. But that's what the belts are. They're just training people in different levels in Six Sigma, so they can do the work together and jointly and in collaboration, basically.
Thank you, Dr. Mishari. Mr. Chris, there is a question here about the barriers to implementing continuous quality improvement initiative in the business process. What is the barriers? What is the mainly barriers?
Okay, for me, the barriers are, the principal barrier is we have a 5-letter acronym in English, which is called WIFM, which is short for What's in It for Me. And for me, we as promoters of continuous quality improvement initiatives must step into the shoes of the senior management and say, what are they really interested in? And hopefully my slides describe that. They're really, really interested in their vision, their mission, and their strategic objectives. And if we can link into their strategic objectives, yes, we're going to power their inspiration. The people who do the work each and every day, what's in it for me? They want an easy life. They want to earn their money at the end of each month. And really, they don't want too much stress and pressure whilst they're doing their jobs. So let's start listening to them. Let's go out and watch how they do their jobs each and every day, learn what the specific issues that they are having, and start conversations to say, well, how can this be improved? What's the problem we're facing here? Would you like to participate on actually tackling this problem to make this work situation better for you? I think those are the barriers. What's in it for me? And hopefully I've described 2 techniques that will help you overcome those barriers.
Well done. Thank you. Dr. Mishari, there is another question about why do some Six Sigma project fail? How to overcome Six Sigma project failure? That's a common question.
What's the question? I didn't get the question yet.
Why do some Six Sigma project fail?
Oh, why do they fail?
How to overcome Six Sigma project failure?
Well, there are many reasons actually, and I was hoping that when I went through the success factors, success is just the opposite word for failure. So to succeed, actually, as I mentioned in my last slide, the successful factors, first of all, don't draw the rosy picture, as we said. Some people come and they draw all rosy pictures and they say, hey, if you just do Six Sigma, everything will be resolved. And they're good in PowerPoint presentation. They make a PowerPoint presentation and they leave. Six Sigma is not, it's a continuous, like a dynamic thing. And the mentorship is very important. The way we did it in Aramco, we were actually mentoring all the projects together. We were working together in most of the projects. And we were actually mentoring our participants in their projects. Again, it's like the car example. It's not enough to just say, this is how you drive and write instructions and how to drive in a piece of paper and give it to somebody and tell them, here is the instruction, go on to drive. That's not enough. You need to actually be with them. Consultants also need to put their hands dirty, And also I noticed one thing, you need to be familiar with even the consultants themselves, they need to be familiar with the technicality of the things. you know, somebody who had never heard what a bearing is, or what a mechanical seal is, or what a motor is, you know, you can't come and, you know, coach. Normally you need a language. So there are a number of factors. I tried to list in my, you know, like 3 or 4 slides, you know, my reason, you know, my success factors. And I hope that you go back also to the presentation. You'll see that there are some specifics, but it's commitment, management commitment, and people commitment. And as Chris said, what's in it for me? You know, some people just, okay, this is too much headache. Why should I even continue? People are not given data. Sometimes you ask for data. It's data-driven methodology. You go and ask people for data. I'm doing a Six Sigma project. I need data. They tell you, go away, I'm very busy, you know, go away, you and your Six Sigma initiative. That's, you know, that's very common. And unless, you know, the management are really believing in this, they are participating in this, they're holding progress review progress review meetings regularly, and just won't work. It needs commitment from everybody.
Thank you, Dr. Al-Mishari. Mr. Alcock, in speaking of management, there is a question from one of the audience asking about the resistant change. How do we overcome organizational resistance to process improvement?
Okay, I'm going to give you my answer to that. Okay, so I hopefully everybody can see what I'm holding in my hands.
Sure.
It's a mobile.
It's a mobile, it's a smartphone, yes?
Yes.
This is, sorry, with my background, you couldn't see it perfectly. This is a mobile phone, a smartphone, yes? It's represented a huge amount of change in the world over the past 15 years. Was anybody resisting that? No. Why? Because people were given the option and the choice to participate.
Oh, yeah.
In improvement programs, people welcome change if they are given the option and the choice and the ability to participate, share their opinions, share their viewpoints, choose to go when it's ready for them. Did I say this is easy? No, this is hard. But if somebody 20 years ago had said, we will have a device costing between £200 and £1,000 owned by almost everybody in the first and the second world, most people would have replied, rubbish. People won't pay that much money for any device. They were wrong. People wanted change because it gave them something. So we need to engage with people and ask them what they want. Then they're more likely to agree and accept and look for and actively seek change. Those are my thoughts. Those are my opinions, and I'm willing to have more detailed conversations with other people about their experiences at some future opportunity.
Well, thank you so much, all. Thank you so much, Dr. Al-Mishari. Thank you so much, Mr. Alcock. I think we came to the end of the road. We are now. We will have the final thought. We're gonna have a take-home message from Dr. Al-Mishari first. Dr. Al-Mishari, what's your final thought today?
Well, that's the title of the whole thing. You know, it's they are improvement initiative. They're not training initiative. So think of it as improvement. Sorry, they are improvement initiative. So that's my take on this.
Thank you, Ms. Chris. What's your final?
So, Dr. Ahmed, right at the beginning, you said to me, that our finishing thoughts would potentially be tweets.
Yes.
I once read a challenge and it said, if you cannot describe something in less than 130 characters, you don't understand it well enough. And then I thought, well, how can I describe Lean Six Sigma in less than 130 characters? And my reply, and I'm willing for you to use this as a tweet, is team-led, evidence-confirmed problem solving to better satisfy the needs or wants of your customers. That's what Salman and I are about. Team-led, evidence confirmed. These words are very carefully chosen. Team-led. I didn't say management-led, I said team-led. Evidence confirmed problem solving to better satisfy the needs or wants of your customers. I'd love to see that in a tweet. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is it today. We really enjoy the chorus of Six Sigma. Thank you so much, Dr. Al-Mishari. Thank you so much, Chris Alcock. Personally, I really enjoyed it. One of the distinguished presentation we present. Before we let our speaker say goodbye to you, I just want to remind you, you can have this presentation in our YouTube, and this is our social. You can capture this slide. This is our social media where we are communicating with everybody. Just to remind you, we have the third webinar in this season will be in December 8th. Our panelist, it's a surprise. I think you're going to enjoy it all. Thank you so much all. I will just have the last word for Dr. Al-Mishari and last word from Chris Alcock. It's yours, Dr. Al-Mishari, final word for the audience.
My final words, Six Sigma, again, it's a rosy thing if you do it right. It's a difficult thing if you don't want to do it right. I wish you all the best and all the good luck in it.
Thank you. Chris Alcock.
Thank you. Everything I know, I've learned from other people. The first step to change is awareness. In participating today and in choosing to listen to Dr. Salman and I, you've gained awareness. I thank you. You've already taken the first step. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Salman. I just to also last call, the certificate of attendance is available online. You can just claim it there. I really appreciate every one of you. We enjoy it all. Thank you so much. I will see you on December 8th. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. I focused on lean, actually.
Yeah,
one of the questions is the topic was Lean Six Sigma. Both presentations focused on Six Sigma. No, that person wasn't listening, but it's okay. There's a lot of information. I actually focused more on lean.
Yes.
Those that Dr. Salman would recognize, I was speaking, team-led is a fundamental principle of lean. The team does the work, not the consultants, not the specialists. The team does the work. I'm just reading through some of the questions, Dr.
I think that's it will be in another presentation, Mr. Chris. I think the audience get a lot of information about the two things. Yeah. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Salman. Thank you so much, Chris. I think the broadcast will be end in a minute. Thank you.
Okay. Cheers, guys. Thank you. I'm going to leave now. Thank you. Bye-bye.